back to another episode of Demetra's Dishes. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a spiced pumpkin and olive oil cake that is going to fill your house with the aromas of autumn. It's going to be so moist and flavorful and delicious as always. Make sure you make 2 of them, double this batch. If anything, you could even quadruple it so that way you can freeze some so you can have them throughout the season. They're the perfect gift to bring to somebody's house if you're going over for dinner, especially if you're invited for a Thanksgiving dinner or lunch. This is a great thing to give to your hostess. Let's go over the ingredients so we can get started. For the wet ingredients, we're going to need some light olive oil, pure vanilla extract, a little bit of salt, some granulated sugar, light brown sugar, 2 eggs. We're going to use the zest of an orange, some canned pumpkin puree. And for the dry ingredients, we have some all-purpose flour, some salt, baking soda, baking powder, a little bit of ground ginger, some ground cloves, and ground cinnamon. And the cranberries are optional. We're also going to use some peeled pistachios. These are salted pistachios. They're going to be for the topping. And for the glaze, we're going to need some confectioner sugar and orange juice. So before we get started, I just want to tell you that you can use your stand mixer if you have it, but this comes together very easily in a large bowl with a whisk. So I'm going to show you how to do that just so you could see just exactly how easy it is to do that. You can definitely add your favorite dried fruit and nuts to it. I am going to add cranberries to mine because I love the festive flavor and color of the cranberries. I love how they're chewy and sweet. Just make sure that you do add a tablespoon of all-purpose flour to the cranberries so that way they do not sink to the bottom. You can substitute raisins for the cranberries or do a combination. You can add dates or even dried cherries, whatever your favorite dried fruit is. And as a matter of fact, you can also put nuts in this. Pistachios are really nice. I'm using pistachios today for the topping, for the icing, but you can also put them inside of the cake, as well as walnuts, pecans, whatever your favorite nuts in, you could put it in there and just make it very hearty and delicious. Let's get started with making this. We're going to start by whisking together all of the dry ingredients. Set it aside. And now in my bowl I have some light olive oil. I'm going to add both sugars along with a little bit of salt. And I'm going to whisk this together until everything is combined. I'm going to add the eggs, mix everything up, a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, and the pumpkin puree. Add the zest of half an orange if it's a big one, or the whole thing if it's a small one. Now we're going to slowly add the flour in 2 to 3 batches, mixing just until the flour is incorporated. If you're using cranberries, add about a tablespoon of flour to the cranberries to keep them suspended in the cake so that way they don't sink to the bottom, and add them to the batter and just fold them in. Grease a loaf pan with a little bit of butter or oil and put a parchment paper in there. Line it with parchment paper and transfer all of the batter into the pan and smooth all of the batter out evenly. So now my cake is ready for the oven. You're just going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Let the cake bake in the center rack until a toothpick that is inserted in the center of the cake comes out clean. Check it at the 50-minute mark, and if it comes out clean, fine. If there's still some batter on the toothpick, then you're gonna definitely want to cook it longer so that way it bakes perfectly. I'm going to show you what it looks like as soon as it comes out. So my cake baked for 1 hour and 10 minutes. It can take all the way up to 1 hour and 15, maybe even 20 minutes, depending on your oven. Just keep an eye on it. At the 50-minute mark, go in and check it with a toothpick or a long skewer. Once the skewer comes out with just dried crumbs or clean, then you know it's ready. Take it out and let it sit at room temperature for about 15 minutes inside the pan. Then carefully go ahead and lift it out of the pan and put it on a rack to cool completely. Once it's totally cooled, go on and make the icing, and it is cool, so we're going to go ahead and make the icing right now. Before I do that, I'm just going to roughly chop these peeled pistachios. Now these are salted. You can use unsalted if you like. I just love the combination that salty pistachios with that sweet, moist cake adds. So I'm just going to use these. Plus these are what I already have on hand. Just go ahead and roughly chop them like this and set them aside. Now I have the confectioner sugar here and some orange juice. This is freshly squeezed. And I'm just going to pour about 1/4 cup of the juice into the sugar. And I'm going to whisk it all together. You want to get it to a pourable, smooth consistency. So if you need to, go ahead and add a little bit more orange juice. And I am going to add about a tablespoon more. It smells so good in the house. And that's it. This is the consistency that you want it to be. You want it to Be very pourable, very smooth. And go ahead and drizzle the glaze all over the top of the cake. It's gonna drip down the sides and it's just gonna look so beautiful. Then I'm gonna take these chopped up pistachios and I'm just gonna sprinkle them all over the top. And just for a little pop of color and so that my guests know that there are some cranberries in here, I'm just gonna throw some cranberries on top. You could also put some orange zest on this if you want. And there you have it, a spiced pumpkin and olive oil cake ready to be served. Call some friends over when you're making this because the house is going to smell delicious. This is good enough to share, you guys. I'm gonna go in and take a bite. This is amazing, guys. This is the best pumpkin loaf that I've ever had in my entire life. It's a loaf just because it's baked in a loaf pan. You can bake it in any pan you like. Basically, it is a cake. It has the perfect amount of spice. A lot of recipes, if not all, call for nutmeg in pumpkin spice cake, pumpkin pie, apple pie. I hate nutmeg in my sweets. If you love it, you can go ahead and add a half teaspoon of it. To me, nutmeg is better for savory dishes. I do not enjoy it at all in my sweet dishes. That's why you're not gonna see it in any pastries or sweets that I make. To me, it's almost like it's in the cumin family and it belongs with savory dishes, but that's all up to you. I think you're gonna love it. It has the perfect balance of spiciness and just that pumpkin flavor. I love cinnamon, so I do go a little extra heavy on the cinnamon. The orange balances everything out. The olive oil keeps it so fruity and delicious and moist. You guys are gonna absolutely love this cake. Go over to the website, www.dimitrasdishes.com. Make a couple of batches of this because it freezes well. You're gonna wanna bring it to people's houses and hand it out as gifts. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me today. I will see you all next time. Yes, us.